There's beauty in the swamp, if you know where to find it. It's Harmless Phosphorescence! Alright, welcome everybody to Harmless Phosphorescence, the superhero movie podcast, where we talk about every superhero movie ever made in the order in which they were made. This week, we are going all the way back to 1982. I am one of your hosts, Thoreau Smiley, and I am joined this week by...
Josh Cece, and I was born on a bayou.
Brian Lesh, I was not in a plane crash, I'm just out walking.
I am a plant who thinks he is Alaric Weber.
And this week, we are looking at Swamp Thing, 1982. It was the year that saw the breakup of the AT&T monopoly. 7 people were killed by Tylenol laced with cyanide. Argentina and the UK went to war over the Falkland Islands. USA Today published its very first issue. The top 10 movies of the year were E.T., Tootsie, An Officer and a Gentleman, Rocky III, Porky, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, 48 Hours, Poltergeist, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and Annie. Those last two would have made a hell of a double feature. The most popular TV shows were 60 Minutes, Dallas, and MASH. The top song of the year was Physical by Olivia Newton-John and Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. And on February 19th, 1982, Swamp Thing was released.
Government agents, scientists, soldiers, master criminals, secret formulas, monsters and midgets. None of them belong in this swamp. Only one thing does. The Swamp Thing.
Uh-huh. Here comes trouble.
The Swamp Thing.
There goes the neighborhood.
Adrian Barbeau and the Swamp Thing, an outrageous pair in the incredible adventure that grows on you or all over you. The Adventures of the Swamp Thing. The comic book legend lives.
Swamp Thing. It currently sits at 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, 5.4% on 5.4 on IMDb. Written and directed by Wes Craven. So our first auteur superhero movie here.
Yeah.
The Swamp Thing as a character is pretty interesting. It's the newest character we've done by far. I mean, not counting Condor Man or Hero at Large. The newest real comic character. Al, I hear you know a little bit about this.
A little bit, yes. So Swamp Thing, his first appearance was in July 1971. There was a book called House of Secrets, or The House of Secrets, to be precise. It had a companion book called House of Mystery, and they were both horror compilation comics. Interestingly enough, they were House of Mystery was hosted by Cain, and House of Secrets was hosted by Abel. And these characters would later show up, ongoing characters in the Sandman comics by Neil Gaiman.
Wow.
Yeah. Huh.
That Cain and Abel.
Wow. I just kind of a little rabbit hole here about that, but I just recently found out that Lyda Hall from the Sandman comics, the mother of spoilers for anyone who hasn't read the Sandman comics, was
Daniel's mother.
Yeah, Daniel's mother was originated as Diana's daughter, Diana, aka Wonder Woman.
Interesting.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just found that out recently.
So let's see. Yeah, it was one of the horror stories in issue number 92 of House of Secrets, Swamp Thing. The Swamp Thing solo series started in November 1972 with Alec Holland as the title character. Previously, the title character was Alex Olson. It took place a lot earlier in the 20th century, somewhere in the swamplands. So Len Wein was the writer, and Bertie Wrightson was the artist. Len Wein had the idea. He came up with the idea, just driving around New York in a bus or a subway train or something like that. He didn't have a name yet, but he kept referring to it as that swamp thing I'm working on. And that's how the title came around. They just liked Swamp Thing. So
That's
Kind of like how the band came up with their name.
right.
exactly.
Yeah. Swamp Thing fought evil while trying to find the men who killed his wife and caused his horrific transformation. Dr. Anton Arcane didn't show up a lot in the original series. I think just twice in the first series. Sort of became his Swamp Thing's nemesis. Meanwhile, Swamp Thing is developing a relationship with Anton Arcane's niece, Abigail Arcane.
Whoa.
She would show up later in the new this year's DC Universe series of the Swamp Thing.
Okay.
Features Abby Arcane. Let's see. So it ran for I think 23 issues. The first run. The second run. The series was revived in 1982, attempting to capitalize on Wes Craven's movie, which we just watched. Martin Pascoe was now the writer, but due to increasing TV commitments, and I didn't look into what he was committed to,
Alan Company.
yeah, Alan Moore was assigned to write for Swamp Thing by now editor Len Wein. Len Wein was now the editor of Swamp Thing.
Young up-and-comer Alan Moore.
Moore revamped the title after Karen Berger became editor, and she sort of gave him license to, just go his own way. And,
Carte blanche.
Yes, carte blanche. So Alan Moore, his revamping, he decided that Swamp Thing was not actually Alec Holland turned into a monster, but a true monster created upon Alec Holland's death. Basically, a plant-based entity that thought it was Alec Holland.
That's an interesting distinction.
So they find Alec Holland's body, and he's truly dead. Alec Holland's truly dead, but this plant thing came alive and thought it was Alec Holland. Had all of his memories and all of his, desires and what have you.
Obvious.
This run of Swamp Thing was called Saga of the Swamp Thing. That was the title. In Saga of the Swamp Thing number 32, Swamp Thing meets Pogo the Possum.
No.
Yes.
What?
Yep. Pogo the Possum had a special appearance in Swamp Thing, Saga of the Swamp Thing number 32.
What? And did Walt Kelly draw?
Oh,
I imagine he was dead by the 80s, right?
Yeah, the 80s, you're right. Yeah. Well, yeah.
So that was sort of
I guess I meant stock Walt Kelly.
I didn't read the thing, but that was sort of a lighthearted episode of Swamp Thing. In number 37, we saw the first appearance of John Constantine.
Wait, John Constantine's first ever appearance, or the first
ever appearance
in Swamp Thing?
In Swamp Thing.
What?
In issue 33, Cain and Abel came back for a retelling of Swamp Thing's origin story that appeared in the House of Secrets number 92, the first appearance of Swamp Thing. Also, another tie into Sandman, Bernie Wrightson was a co-creator of the character Destiny, who was Dream's brother.
Huh.
Oh, really?
Wow. Wait. Prior to Sandman?
Prior to Sandman.
So
yes.
that's something that's another thing that Neil Gaiman incorporated into Sandman.
Correct.
Jesus.
Wow.
That's all I got.
Wow, that's some good stuff there, Al. That's a lot of good stuff. Swamp Thing, rich comic history there. Moving into the movie side of things. So, Swamp Thing, the production of the film. It was written and directed by Wes Craven. Wes Craven, at this point in his career, of course, we know him now as a creator of Nightmare on Elm Street, the Scream series. At this point, Wes Craven was most well known for The Last House on the Left, 1972, which was considered uber violent for the time. Yeah. Still is a pretty rough watch. Yeah.
It ends in a swamp.
Yeah. And The Hills Have Eyes from 1977, which was remade, 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
What? That long ago?
Yeah. we're old. But that isn't how he made his bones working his way up through Hollywood. Wes Craven left film school and made, this is a quote by Wes Craven, many hardcore X-rated films under different pseudonyms, including allegedly working on Deep Throat.
Wow.
While his role in Deep Throat is still a mystery, most of his early known work involved writing, film editing, or both. The film he made in 1975, between The Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes, was an X-rated feature called The Fireworks Woman, about a woman seducing her brother, who is also a priest. Wes Craven was credited as Abe Snake.
Abe Snake. He sounds like he'll do your taxes in a sleeveless vest.
Right.
I wonder if there was a horror element to this movie.
The Fireworks Woman?
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in watching that one now.
All vests are sleeveless.
Also interested in watching this movie.
I'm sorry.
Well, are there fireworks involved?
Right.
Yeah.
Is Wes also credited for the origin of the adjective craven? A craven individual?
That I haven't looked into.
All right.
I think that's his actual name, but I've always thought that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a rough name as a kid.
Well, yeah, it is.
What's the West for, though? I have
West. I mean, short for Wesley.
Short for Wesley, yeah.
Westminster.
Westminster Craven.
You've arrived.
Always in a three-piece suit.
Sleeveless vest.
Swamp Thing was starring Ray Wise. Mr. Ray Wise, born August 20th. Happy birthday tomorrow, Mr. Wise.
Oh, wow.
1947. I point that out. We share the same birthday. He was best known for his roles in RoboCop and Leland Palmer in Twin Peaks.
Oh, my.
He was I was shocked at how young the man looked in this movie.
Yeah.
I looked up some other things that he'd been in, more superhero related. Well, first sci-fi. He was in 3 incarnations of Star Trek. Guest appearances.
Oh yeah.
Next Generation, Voyager, and in 2016, Captain Pike. Which I haven't seen. Yeah, I know.
Wait, what is Captain Pike?
I note your confusion. I don't know if it was ever on TV, if it was released on a network or anything. But Captain Pike, it was a short series predating Captain Kirk. And
Right,
an
but didn't he
actual
die?
air? Was it just a pilot, or was it an actually aired show?
I don't know. I don't have the facts on that.
Or did I dream it?
Let's see, voice work. He was in Batman: The Killing Joke as Commissioner Gordon in 2016.
Oh, nice.
He was in 4 episodes of Marvel's Agent Carter. He was the Secretary of State in X-Men First Class.
Oh, yeah.
And In 2007, Superman Doomsday, he was Perry White.
He was in a show called Reaper. I don't know if you had that.
Oh, yeah.
Reaper was great.
And he played the devil.
The devil.
He was
No, that was a
Devil and
great
Reaper,
Ray
yeah.
Wise role.
fantastic.
Ray Wise,
yeah.
Ray Wise, and not Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta's all right too.
He's very all right.
Yeah, but no, Ray Wise is. It also starred Dick Durek as Swamp Thing. Just a quick rundown here. Dick Durek, you saw him in the Poseidon Adventure, Trackdown, Death Journey, The Enforcer, The Nude Bomb, Coast to Coast, Any Which Way You Can, The Incredible Hulk, They Call Me Bruce, there is a question mark, Silverado, Runaway Train, Raw Deal, Stand By Me, Street Justice, Blind Date, Remote Control, Mr. North, Deadly Stranger, The Return of Swamp Thing the Series, Delirious, Die Hard with a Vengeance, and The Hunted.
Yeah.
Louis Jordan, French film and television actor, known for his suave roles in several Hollywood films, including Alfred Hitchcock's The Paradigm Case, Letter from an Unknown Woman, Gigi, The Best of Everything, The VIPs, and Octopussy.
That's Arcane you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's
that actor?
Arcane.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
that guy.
He was also D'Artagnan in The Man in the Iron Mask.
Oh,
And Dracula in the 1977 BBC television production.
Yes.
Wow.
yeah, that was a.
And
We all remember that one.
No, that did perfect fit though.
yeah, totally.
Oh, for sure.
And Miss Adrian Barbeau, who was in The Fog, Escape from New York, The Cannonball Run, The Thing, which also came out in 82 was a hell of a year for her. The Thing, Swamp Thing, and Creepshow.
Which was after Escape from New York.
Yeah.
All of those.
Right.
Yeah. So the next one, Andrea, Terror in the Isles, Back to School, Open House, Cannibal Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death.
Wow. That's about brunch while waiting for a table.
It's about avocado toast. She was voiced Simon Lenoir and Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, which no. Have you guys seen Scooby Doo on Zombie Island?
Have not.
No.
It is possibly the best Scooby Doo product ever made.
Really?
It's an animated movie?
Yes, it's animated. I unironically recommend it.
Okay.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah.
On Zombie Island?
She was in Argo. That
Yes,
movie won 3
yes.
Oscars.
She
She
was-
was in Argo.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
She was, I mean, Adrian Barbeau. She was in the 2007 Halloween.
Yeah. Wow.
Apparently her role was cut from the final film, but she was in the director's cut. Death House. She's she's been in a ton of horror stuff.
She has an interesting
You
look
guys watched
for
the
a leading
TV
lady.
show, right?
Swamp Thing?
Some of you guys watched Swamp Thing.
This last
she
one?
had a cameo in
From this
the
year?
show. Yeah, from this
Oh,
year.
I missed it. I didn't
Yeah.
see her.
Because there was a show, yeah.
Yeah, she played a doctor in the show.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back and look. Adrian Barbeau, I first came across her name a long time ago. She was the voice of Catwoman in 8 episodes of Batman the Animated Series. She did also 2 episodes of New Batman Adventures, and 20 episodes of a animated series that I missed, which I'm sad I missed. Gotham Girls, featuring.
Is that like Gilmore Girls?
No, I picture a Sex in the City dynamic sort of
You're such a Selena Kyle.
They're all just
getting their
gathering around
buttholes bleached
to complain about Batman.
waxed. You had to complain about that.
Mr. Big.
It's like, freaking Batman.
In Gotham Girls,
watched
Selena Kyle, Catwoman, and Detective Renee Montoya.
Detective Renee.
She's great in this. I think she single-handedly
Adrian
made this movie.
Adrian Barbeau. No, she
Yeah.
was a
Watchable.
badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's not forget her co-star, her boobs.
Oh,
Adrian,
yeah, well,
Adrian Barboobs.
if you watch the European edition,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody read about the conspiracy, the
Controversy?
who knows controversy,
The blockbuster
Yeah, I did.
controversy.
the blockbuster controversy, where they somebody released the European version in the States as a PG movie,
Yeah.
which is pretty wild. And some lady in Texas
But what's funny
made
is
her crusade.
Yeah.
I think that I saw the cleaned up version, and her boobs are still in it.
Yeah. I was
briefly.
saying the same thing.
I saw both versions. The cleaned up version, you basically just get some side boob from a distance.
Okay.
And there's much more in the European.
Yeah,
But-
there's a
Well, no, I'm not sure what-
There's a fondling scene. Is how it
Who's
was
fondling
described.
her?
Well,
Is it
not
a swamp
her.
thing?
That's the thing. No, it's not. It's not Cable. It's in the like.
There's a gratuitous scene
Ferret's
when
Sandinistan
just
place.
before
Wait,
when
is
they're
she-
celebrating the capture of Swamp Thing or something like
Oh,
that.
is she being assaulted?
No.
not her.
Not her, they
Someone,
said.
it's just a random person
At that weird
not
dinner.
her boob.
at the
Yeah.
at the dinner party before
Yeah,
all the
before the
toasts and everything. There's just a gratuitous undressing of
did
a
not see
woman,
that one.
and then there's a dancer, some sort of
Oh yeah.
A nude dancer. Or
It's a good like
belly dancer.
45-second sequence. This is a serious mistake.
far out. Yeah, I didn't see that
But
one.
so no, I mean, I'm mostly referring to the fact. I mean, yes, there's a brief shot of Adrian Barbeau's breasts, but
Yeah.
to
Even
the
the
fact
PG
that
version.
yeah, but
Yeah,
the
even
fact
in
that the
that.
camera lingers so heavily on her running braless,
Oh yeah.
with her chest center screen coming at the camera. There's a
Yes.
lot of that.
If it had been made in 2019, there would have been like image stabilization or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So that pretty much covers the backstory here. Are we guys are we ready to jump into this?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
Wade out
wait.
into the
There's
swamp.
one thing we forgot. We haven't for the third week in a row. Let's hear what Siskel and Ebert thought.
Oh yeah. Without thumbs.
Yeah. Pre-thumb still.
Pre-thumbs.
I've got to be honest about why I went to see our next movie. It's Swamp Thing. And the reason I went to see it in the first place was I was looking for a dog of the week. I cannot tell a lie. And frankly, Swamp Thing looked like an ideal candidate. It was playing as the bottom half of a double bill with Penitentiary 2, which is one of the worst movies of this year or any year. And I guess I was making Swamp Thing guilty by association. But Swamp Thing surprised me and sort of delighted me. It's a gloriously ridiculous throwback to the nuclear doom mega monster movies of the 1950s. This movie has everything. Mad scientists, deadly secret formulas, torture dungeons, evil villains who want to rule the world.
Well, I think it's a wonderful film, too. And I don't think this is a case of what we're doing, which we both criticize other critics for doing, which is it's so bad it's good. This is good of its kind.
Yes.
So yeah, Siskel and Ebert liked it.
Good of its
they were
kind?
they were surprised. Well, good of its kind in that
Yeah.
it's a B movie.
Right. Delivered what it promised.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely, yeah. Better than it could have been as a B movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sure.
So, all right.
It's pushing that envelope. Yeah, it could have been.
Could have been much worse.
This show is sponsored by the makers of Swamp Thing. As was Siskel and Ebert, you guys. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, they were paid.
To be fair, though, we'll be sponsored by anybody who cares to sponsor us.
Wes, please.
Hit me up.
Right. Yeah.
Our email is open.
even
If
you.
you're some secret
you.
botanist working on.
So, you guys ready to jump in? Let's do it. Here is Swamp Thing. Trailer. We open on the swamp. And a caption reading, "Not long ago, in the unexplored reaches of an unmapped swamp, the creative genius of one man collided with another's evil dream, and a monster was born. Too powerful to be destroyed, too intelligent to be captured, this being still pursued its savage dream." Yeah.
What was the savage dream, though?
Right.
Just to interject already on that.
Yeah, so it's
He's
almost
just a tree.
he's just a guy who got turned into Swamp Thing who doesn't really enjoy being Swamp Thing.
Well, I have an important question to ask you guys, but I don't know when it will because it seems to pertain to everything. How much time do you guys think spanned over this film? Does that make sense? In the movie, how much time passes from beginning to end?
Like the opening.
Like,
I mean,
are we talking this is
mangrove
many
shot?
days or many days?
I called
Or-
a couple days, 2 to 3 days is what it
Yeah,
felt
I'd
like.
say
That's
less
what
than
it
a
felt
week.
like. That's what we
Less than
thought.
a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of it was actually that one day and night.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, most
Yeah.
of it.
And then okay, all right. Thank you. I needed to figure that out because
There are a
wasn't
couple
clear.
of moments in the
so then-
between the second and third act where we don't know how much time has elapsed since the last time we saw some characters.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well,
But like
it's
long
hard
enough
to
for
follow.
him to be a local legend or like evading. All right, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll go. Well, and I have some questions
That title
about
card implies-
location too.
Yeah, but the title card does make it seem like this is.
He's an old entity.
Yeah.
Been there.
The title card almost seems like it would be more appropriate for the sequel. Like we've already
Yes.
seen
Yeah.
the birth of Swamp Thing,
Right.
and now we're catching up again.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That freaking logo, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I
That
want
was
that
a-
on my backpack
that was
or
good.
my skateboard.
Hell yeah.
For real.
That was badass. So a helicopter carrying Adrian Barbeau is flying over the swamp. Pilot is not a fan of the swamp.
Yeah, I bet landing in swamp and taking off in swamps.
So okay, we'll get there. I'll bring up this later. But remember the fact that she came in on a helicopter.
Yes.
Yeah, and dressed business professional, like,
Yeah.
She had heels on.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
And blazer.
Below them, multiple men in camo stomp through the muck. The copter lands and a government worker, Alice Cable, arrives at the bogs. The men in we cut to the men in camo. They attack a plaid-wearing man with a snake.
Well, yeah.
No, they
Yeah.
they attack him. First, they just kind of come out of the swamp, and then he pulls a machete out of his pants, and then he freaks out and runs away.
Yeah,
and
they seem so surprised he ran away.
They
And,
corral him.
And then they
I
corral
didn't
him.
know he could run.
And Ferret is the name of the character.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But
Pulls a poisonous snake out of his pants.
Yeah, a water moccasin. No, but wait.
who wouldn't?
So let's go back to Ferret's first, his introduction.
yeah, ferret.
He comes from around the tree, and he looks like a kid who's playing John Rambo in some game of Rambo.
Okay, yeah.
And he's also the guy from The Last House on the Left. He's the brutal gang
Interesting.
leader.
So
That victim had a gun, by the way.
yes,
He totally had a handgun.
Yeah, he did.
He's like looking at it, and the guy pulls a knife, and he's like, I better run away. Like,
yeah, he is not a good guard.
and these guys are not good goons.
No.
No, I just want to watch the Ferret and Bruno show.
Oh, God. We did.
Neither of them at the top of their game.
How long has Ferret been keeping this water moccasin in his pocket?
He just feeds it
A
crackers.
poisonous snake can't bite through the fabric of his pants.
Doesn't want to.
Well, my question is, how long have Ferret and Bruno been goons?
Right.
I'm guessing they just answered a Craigslist ad last week.
No, that was in the paper. I mean, this
Yeah,
was
oh, yeah.
1982.
But they've been friends since like third grade.
yeah,
totally.
yeah, they grew up in the swamps together.
Ferret and Bruno are buds.
Yeah.
Alice arrives at the camp where she immediately notices that one of the team's swamp sensors has malfunctioned. But her guide, Charlie, introduces her to Harry Ritter, the project supervisor.
There were screams. That alarm, there were voices of a man being murdered. And she just like, click.
There was,
I'm just gonna. Your alarm was going off.
There was footage of him being murdered by a water moccasin.
There was a moment with Alice Cable. She makes a Wizard of Oz reference. I don't know where we are, Toto, but it sure isn't Kansas.
No, it's
And then the guy goes, "Excuse me?"
Yeah.
no, it's not Kansas. It's Florida.
Yeah, it's Florida.
Kansas doesn't have a swamp. But it got me to wondering, did we hear that in any of the previous Superman movies? Was there
That we're not in Kansas.
not the we're not in Kansas, or like you're not in Kansas anymore, Clark? Did that ever come up?
No, I don't remember that at all.
Okay, maybe that's later in the Superman universe. Something.
But what I love
3
is
or
it-
4.
She says it. The dude says, "Excuse me," as if he didn't hear it, and she goes, "Never mind." Like, what a strange, as from a screenwriter's point of view. It's like, oh, okay, never mind then.
Charlie tells Ritter a rumor about an evil paramilitary leader named Anton Arcane.
What? Who said that? Who said that?
Arcane is
So
dead.
I would like to point out an evil paramilitary leader
Yeah,
in the early 80s in Florida.
yeah. That he's trying to take over.
Was it Florida though?
Or
Did it say?
Louisiana
I mean,
or
Right.
Alabama.
It could have been somewhere, some swamp in South America.
Swampland, USA.
Oh,
It's
no,
definitely
it's
Swampland,
USA.
USA.
I mean,
It's definitely
Swamp Thing
like-
is an American
Yeah.
They
character.
are
I would
very
assume.
American.
He's a patriot.
They're,
Patriot.
they, are,
Swamp Thing loves America.
they are an hour from Jacksonville.
They really close to Disney World.
Orlando, yeah. Yeah, so what the hell are they doing? I mean, I know that Holland is working on these. Yeah. We know what Holland's doing.
He's doing plant science.
What the hell is everybody else doing? And who the hell are the name badges for?
Right?
Like to get in and out of shacks.
They're really close to Disney World. So, just in case people come up, they'll know how to identify them.
Showing
so there's
swamp
two
critters.
with the arrival of Alice, 3 scientists.
All right.
And like 10, 12 guards.
Including the British guy, Harry, who's the field operator.
Yes.
Let's not forget him.
Oh, yeah, Harry. He's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what are they doing? You know, what are they doing?
I don't know.
Because Harry was like giving orders, you know, there's a big thing going on.
It's a big operation, but no one's doing anything except for Ray Wise and his sister.
Right.
Also, is the government paying for this?
That's what.
No, she's from Washington.
She's from Washington.
I assume it's government.
The pilot and the guy talking about the food thing, they mention Washington.
So, okay, wait. So there's a paramilitary terrorist in Florida.
There is more than one, my friends.
Attacking a government science expedition into the Everglades.
Right. A government shack.
And the leader of his militia's name is Ferret.
Ferret.
And his second in charge is Bruno.
Hey, man.
Oh, God. So while Charlie briefs Ritter on the situation, Alice introduces herself to Dr. Linda Holland and her brother, lead scientist Dr. Alec Holland.
Spoiler alert, if your name is Alice Cable.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like a tree.
And this is where the quips start flying.
Yeah.
It got really quippy really fast.
Oh, yeah.
It also got really... Well, more sexual boundaries getting crossed.
Yeah, like really fast.
Adrian Barbeau gets kissed a lot without asking for it. Yeah. In this movie.
Okay, yeah, no. When they make the discovery and he just starts kissing,
Right.
he calls his sister in and then starts kissing her immediately. So his sister runs in like he wanted to show her they were kissing.
Which to me, because I'm concerned about Alice's concern, she's like, this guy is trying to cheat on his wife with me.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Because she
No,
takes
she
him out to
didn't
the
know.
swamp for the tour and all
Yeah.
that, like, and gets blamed for it, you know, of course, those things. But
Yeah.
the kissing, I feel like that was because he knew the whole time. He was leading her along to think that his sister was his wife.
I thought it was his wife too, which is why when he started
I did
kissing
at
her, I
first.
was like, "Oh, is this going to turn into a different kind of Wes Craven movie?"
He was like
Free and
Swamp
easy on the
Ferris
swamp.
Bueller, man. He was just so smooth the whole time. Also trying to get laid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
the whole time.
I believe
it is Ray Wise.
I believe in the comics, Linda... what was
Is his wife.
Linda Holland is his wife.
Yeah.
and gets
Interesting.
killed, and
Yes.
that's just a choice by Wes Craven.
It was Florida, you guys. Apologies to our Florida listeners. Yeah.
Our ex-Florida listeners.
And then they're out on the boat themselves.
Yeah, so-
checking
so-
on that sensor.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So he takes her on a tour of the swamp and to check on the sensor, and encourages her to admire the beauty of the swamp.
He tells this like gator eating story, like that's what happened to the last guy, and then they give each other sort of a knowing, kind of flirty glance.
Like, you ever been eaten by a gator?
Yeah, it had that like vibe.
You have to look
Those
for the
two
beauty
beats.
in the swamp. And he just keeps telling her that. You have to look for it. Like, it's really green out here. I don't know, but there's a fuck ton of mosquitoes, man. Like, also, your body. Look at your body. It's a million messy miracles.
Right.
That's a million messy miracles.
Wow, man. Does that work on all the girls? In the swamp, I guess, his sister, you know?
Yeah, I
Right,
guess
yeah.
he's just been out there with the guards and his sister for a while.
Those random dudes and his sister. I love that the sister's locket has like recent pictures of her and her brother. Not even them as kids or anything. Like passport photos of Ray
And
Wise.
not like photos of their dead parents.
Nothing like that. Yeah,
No, they
nothing to
just
remote.
took him.
Just like
They took him the other day. They went to a photo mat in Jacksonville.
Yeah, they were at Kmart and they were just like, let's sit down for a photograph
the
while
Sears,
we
yeah,
load up
totally.
on food and supplies.
Which, you know, which honestly, Alec really should have just gone to a strip club in Jacksonville. I'm sure there are some.
oh yeah.
yeah.
Where do you think he went as Swamp Thing later on in the movie? I have my theories.
Upon returning to the site, however, Ritter and Charlie scold Alice for distracting Alec. When Alice mentions the broken sensor, Ritter reveals that her predecessor was attempting to repair it when he was killed. After noting the disappearance of one of their workers, the group hears a loud bang and returns to the laboratory where Linda shows off her recent breakthrough, a glowing plant-based concoction with explosive properties.
Which we should call the arcane fire.
Definitely not extremis.
She touches it with her hands.
Yeah, it's explosive slime, and she just sticks her fingers in it
And doesn't
Like,
wash her
why?
hands.
Oh yeah, she doesn't.
So scientists, lab coats, no gloves.
Right.
Luckily, she got shot before it had any effect on her. Right?
Yeah.
Swamp protocol,
Spoiler
so
alert.
relax.
Alec then shows Alice a hybrid plant and animal cell, his prized discovery.
So it was vegetable cells with an animal nucleus?
Yeah, is that what it was?
Yeah, that was how
That's
he
what
described
he
it.
said, yes.
Sweet.
Science.
Yeah.
That's science.
Why does it glow?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's harmless phosphorescence.
Well, maybe not harmless.
Well, no.
It was explosive.
It explodes,
Yeah,
but
burst
not
into
not in your hands.
and not on your hands or on a board. When
So they They said they were developing a plant with an animal's aggressive power for survival.
Like a rabbit?
Right.
does that sound like a good idea to anybody though?
And didn't he say that by 2001 we'll all be starving?
Yeah, because there will be
He was fairly accurate.
6.7 billion people
Yeah.
all starving
so
together.
we'll want aggressive plants.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, with feelings.
Yeah, they're gonna choke us out of our ecosystem.
Right.
Just like, yeah, we just need a couple swamp things running around.
Did you think you were safe being a vegan? Well, now plants have feelings and brains.
swamp things there to avenge the
Touche,
plants?
vegans.
And
Enjoy your rice.
Alice Cable said something about like elephant-sized cauliflower or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't have the
How
exact
does
quote.
how
but
does mixing them with an animal make them bigger?
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Science.
But Alec Holland just said, "Yeah, I just want to grow tomatoes that can survive in the desert."
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, it was noble.
Yeah, no. He had good intentions. Sometime later, Alec notices that droplets of Linda's formula spawned rapid plant growth on the surface they touched.
Oh wait, first they put some of the slime in water to see what it would do, and then they're just like looking at it for a little while. It's like, you know, well, when's it gonna?
How long is this gonna take?
How long is this gonna take?
Oh, science is boring.
And she says this has all the thrills of watching grass grow.
Right. Yeah.
Ta-da!
Then they notice.
Well, he notices, and then he says it out loud, and Adrian Barbeau goes, "Are you kidding me?" When literally all she would have to do is look
down at the branches growing out of the floorboards.
Right. Are you kidding me? I'd love to see that someday.
Looking down's for suckers.
I'm going to go to the Swamp Walmart. Yeah. It's just... Yeah, are you kidding me?
Overcome with
Oh,
excitement.
wait. So what was he going for? Okay, so the explosive was the intended result, and the rapid plant growth was the byproduct that he didn't expect?
No. The explosive was unintended.
Okay.
I believe
They seem much more surprised about the plants.
the rapid plant growth. I think that was also it was unclear that they had a clear goal
fair enough.
as to what to expect from their experiments.
The way
They were
the
just-
way I interpreted the goop catching on fire was it was so volatile, like it was such a potent growth.
It was growing so much.
It created like friction in the air that created fire, I guess.
Right.
That's the only thing that I could
like
think
those little
of.
paper things filled with gunpowder you got as a kid and threw at fellas.
No, I was just wondering which he was going for and which was the accidental.
I think the explosion was accidental.
That's what they call an exothermic chemical reaction.
Thank you, Al.
You're welcome.
That's what the Hollands call it.
Science.
Yeah, I mean,
In the
those
biz.
boards, they grew like seedlings, like a sapling would. It was really it's an interesting concept altogether, being like, oh well, here you can grow a person from some flakes of skin. I guess not a person, but a swamp thing.
What is a swamp thing?
So, overcome with excitement at the sudden growth, Alec kisses Alice before sending her to retreat
Vigorously.
vigorously
Yes.
in front of his sister.
Yeah.
We come to find out.
Alice has figured this out at least.
Yeah.
Well, after she said something about dad.
Yeah.
Our dad.
Your dad?
What?
Yeah, there was a great, like,
You guys have been in the swamp too long.
Well, no, but she was into the kiss, kind of, so it was kind of like,
Was she?
well, I guess I'm going down this road again.
right?
Me and a married couple.
Of all the swamps in all the world.
Then sends her to retrieve Ritter in the control room. Although the room is empty, she sees security camera footage of Charlie being shot. Suddenly, a group of paramilitary agents attack her and raid Alec's laboratory.
Yeah.
A man resembling Ritter steps forward, but pulls off his mask and reveals himself as Arcane. So
Arcane is not dead.
And
no.
I'm sure I'm not the only one, but how long do you think that dude was in full-on makeup? Like, because he was running, he's the field operator of the project.
It's been weeks, if not months.
So he has his other plan, but he also has to get up every day and put on all the makeup and be Harry Ritter and do his job.
And I don't think they ever met Harry Ritter before. And I don't think they met Arcane before. So if he had just showed up in no makeup and said, "Hi, I'm Harry Ritter," they would have been none the wiser.
That's true.
Yeah. It was at this point in the movie that I realized that Alice Cable is perhaps the most capable female character we've seen so far.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
She kicks some ass in this scene. A little early, when she first gets to the place, the guy that's showing her around like starts to tell her what this piece of machinery is, and she just throws it out of her. She just pulls it out. It's a laser-induced subsonic field generator.
Oh yeah.
And she knows where the problems are. It has problems picking up readings in the something hertz area and whatever.
Science.
She's
science. Yes,
she's smart. She kicks ass.
Super smart. She kicks ass. She beats a guy up. And then when she's being overwhelmed, she picks up a guy's machine gun and just blasts some guy away.
Oh yeah, like just straight up kills him.
She went full Rambo on this dude.
Yep. Straight up shot a dude.
Did anybody else notice that she was dressed like Magnum PI?
Oh yeah, her safari outfit that she went into the swamp.
Did you watch Regis this morning? Freaking Magnum PI. It was like very specific.
The Hawaiian shirt with the V-neck T-shirt.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of like Laura Dern from Jurassic Park. So I expected to see Adrian Barbeau in that outfit, like elbow deep in Swamp Thing dung.
West Indian.
Has he been
lilac.
eating those? Yeah, exactly.
Skittles.
Despite how capable she is, she does now at this point fall prey to the Vulcan nerve chop.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't a pocket snake.
Yeah. That's true.
A pocket snake is more dangerous than pocket
That's
sand.
a one-off. He just like left the snake. He's like
The official animal of Florida.
No, I'm disappointed that that's the one and only time that ferret used an animal to kill somebody.
He's a good pet owner. I mean, he's not going to overwork his reptile.
The pocket snake ran out of venom.
Right, yeah.
It's a one-use snake.
It's not an unlimited
he has
supply.
to send away to Orlando to get more.
It's like I haven't been back to my trailer yet
A
to pick
one-use
up
snake.
more snakes.
When Arcane shoots Linda for attempting to escape with the formula, Alec grabs the beaker but trips, causing the spilled chemicals to set him on fire.
Yep.
He runs outside and dives into the swamp to extinguish the flames as a series of explosions burst from the water.
That's one of the longest fire suit stunts I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That was
Took them a while.
impressive.
Yeah. I think there was more. I think there were like 3 individual shots of that, but each of those shots were long.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if it was 3 even.
Yeah.
It feels like we watched them run from a real...
Well, I mean, I imagine they probably had multiple cameras set up at that point so
Yeah.
that they...
Yeah, I couldn't find anything about the fire stunt, but I was impressed. I was like, holy crap, I don't remember anything like that as a kid that went on as long as that one did.
No, that was really impressive.
Yeah.
And the underwater fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
That went on for a long time as well.
No. Despite
His
the problems it
creation,
has,
supposedly.
there's some impressive work by Wes Craven and his crew on this movie.
Yeah.
For 1982 on like very small budget. Which, by the way, it made so it cost $2.5 million to make.
All right.
There's nothing online about how much money it made. So I have to assume some.
Not a success story, I'm assuming.
Yeah, if it's not, you can't find it.
Yeah, no, it came out a week after The Thing.
Oh, damn.
That's a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
You're gonna take
rough. God, that's like gotta watch it multiple times too. That'll wipe something like this right off the right off.
Take your kid to the movies, and it's like, all right, Swamp Thing or the best little whorehouse in Texas. Those are your choices.
I wanted to see Annie. You'll watch The Best Little Whorehouse and you'll like it. Hey everyone, Thoreau from Harmless Phosphorescence here with a message for you. Yes, you listening to me talk. Did you know that the Harmless Entertainment Network has a Patreon? That's right, you can join in and get extra fun like a Star Wars Harmless Phosphorescence miniseries, a patron-only Q&A roundtable episode. We have great bonus episodes of audio dramas like Attention Hellmart Shoppers in 1994. But not only that, if we reach our next patron goal, we'll do a monthly bonus Harmless Phosphorescence about a patron-chosen non-superhero movie. Plus, there are great new shows on the way, and if you're a patron, you'll get to hear them first. Head over to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment today, and for the price of a cup of coffee, you too can join our super awesome superhero club. Now, back to the show. The best little swamp thing in Texas.
That's funny.
Thank you. Overnight, Arcane's henchmen destroy the premises and remove all evidence of the team's work. At dawn,
except for
Alice's necklace.
Yes.
Oh, then and all the notebooks.
Linda's necklace.
Linda's necklace.
Linda's necklace. The notebooks. He does not destroy the notebooks. Adrian Barbeau looks up, grabs one of the notebooks, and then goes back to pretending to be knocked out. Yeah. So apparently the Vulcan neck chop didn't really knock her out.
She's that badass, man.
It knocked her out for a little while.
But then she came she came back and immediately started playing possum, apparently.
Yeah. She was groggy. Yeah. But Bruno had this moment of like humanity that was really weird.
Bruno had something going on.
Yeah.
Like there were he had an arc.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed the slime wipe.
Oh yeah, slime wipe. Oh.
After he falls into the swamp and it cuts to the morning scene where the camp is on fire. There's the first slime wipe of the movie, which is
a lot of wipes,
far superior to the star wipe.
Yeah.
Yes,
there were a lot in Condor Man too.
There were I have a feeling Star Wars made wipes very popular for a period.
Oh
of
yeah,
time.
I'm sure people thought it was the wipes that really made them popular too.
It was Star Wars would have been nothing without the wipes.
I'm taking my name off this.
So the little plant that Bruno hangs the necklace onto was actually the floorboard plant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That survived the fire.
And the plant when Arcane does his big reveal, the whole plant had grown around the table.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a really cool visual. Like they were using the magical goop, science goop, whatever.
Yes.
And showing it. I thought that was a cool aspect. Like
Yeah.
not just like we're just casting this off and we're moving forward with this movie. Like we stayed in that room a lot.
That was that came up later. That was a plant. The plant that he had picked, the flower that he picked off the tree and then put into the slime water.
Yeah. Well, and he had been using to startle her during the alligator storm.
Yeah. Well, and I'd like to point out that this plant actually appeared in the Swamp Thing comic issue number 1. So
our first vegetable character from the comics.
Yes. I wonder what its name is.
Swamp Thing number 2.
Yeah. At dawn, a henchman captures Alice and attempts to drown her in the swamp.
No, he's teaching her how to swim.
Is he
Is
trying,
what he says.
though?
I mean, half-heartedly.
Yeah.
Right.
They were ordered to kill all the survivors.
Everybody,
They said no survivors. So these guys, they grab Alice and they put her on a boat, and she struggles, and then he throws her off the boat and then tries to drown her half-heartedly. They're just like cats playing with prey at this point.
Yeah.
But a green, human-like creature drags her ashore and chases 2 of Arcane's men.
I think that was Cable and Bruno. I'm pretty sure that there was because he says to her, "Say hello to your boyfriend, baby."
That's right.
Yeah,
say hello to your boyfriend.
Like, probably not in that voice. More like a Belushi voice. That guy had a weird voice once he started talking. He started talking around.
That was Ferret.
This part of the movie, it was
Ferret. Yeah.
Yeah, Ferret and Bruno. So
we get our first Swamp Thing.
we get our
movie.
first look at the
Fucking
Swamp Thing,
man.
Yeah.
which, okay, so the suit.
Yeah, I remembered it as much better than that.
Honestly, I was surprised that Swamp Thing's first reveal was in the dawn hours, like the daylight.
Yeah, it wasn't at night.
Which was kind of a bold move. I think Wes Craven was proud of that suit. I mean, it gets ripped on a lot, but he was probably proud of it to show it.
The face looked like the comic character.
It did.
For sure.
People at that point weren't reading the source material and thinking like, "Wow, this looks great." They're thinking, "Well, why does he have that pointy little weird nose?"
Well, and let's be fair that it looks a lot better than the suit that Arcane gets at the end.
Oh yeah, it is better than that one.
Jeez.
But yeah, as far as the daylight, it's because it's just been one night, right?
Yeah. No, she arrived yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
First day on the job as a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, and she survives the night, and they find her still in that spot that morning because she's trying to find the book she stashed.
Yeah, exactly. No, she ran away into the swamp and then came back for the book.
Yeah, because the book is the MacGuffin of the whole story, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
The Infinity Notebooks that Arcane has to collect.
If they had just worked them into the DC expanded universe.
Right.
Meanwhile, in his mansion, Arcane and his secretary, played by Wes Craven's wife, realize that
Really?
Yes, yeah, that's Wes Craven's wife.
Who is?
The secretary.
Oh,
I'm sure she is nothing like that in real life, but man, that was a very doting character.
Yeah. She almost seemed hypnotized.
Yeah.
What I like just later on, so there was the second girl too. That was his other maid or other assistant. There were the two of them, right?
Right.
And later on in the movie, he calls one of them in and tells her to go get the other one to bring him a drink.
Yeah. I assume those were his live-in girlfriends.
Yeah.
He's a Bond villain, you know, not a good guy.
She's like, you need some sleep. No, I'm fine. Have some coffee.
It's that'll help you sleep. Yeah, so they realize that Alex's most recent notebook is missing from the plunder. Alice, meanwhile, runs to a nearby gas station. So she runs to a nearby gas station. She had to helicopter into the swamp. But she can walk to a gas station.
Well, I mean, it's not like that gas station was getting a lot of traffic.
Except for Arcane's limo.
And, well, they had a Coke machine. I think was the only thing that worked.
And Arcane just drove up to the place in
He's just around the corner. When she calls him from the freaking place, I'll be right there.
He just drives down the road in his limo and meets Farrah out in the swamp.
Pulls right up to the water.
I was down in town hitting KFC, man. I'll be right back.
You guys want fraps? I'm going to Starbucks.
I mean, clearly they're out in the country, but they're not they're not in the Amazon.
Right. Why a helicopter?
They're small town USA.
Well, maybe she rode in the helicopter all the way down from DC. Or maybe it was from Washington State. Who knows?
Who knows? So
she flew in from the coast because it was a Coast Guard helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
Weird. So she took a boat from DC to the coast.
Right.
So that little kid is awesome.
So
Jude.
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 So, but I would like to point out Jude apparently is parentless.
He owns that gas station.
He runs that joint himself.
Yep.
Yeah, but that kid is something else.
Grow up fast in the
I
swamp.
tried to look him up. This is his only screen credit.
Yeah, Reggie Batts.
Yes,
Ooh,
he became a
Reggie Batts.
motivational speaker.
Yep.
Wow. He's motivational in this.
Yeah, he's great.
He does have one other screen credit. I forget the name of it, but it's like a documentary about him and his role in this movie.
Wow.
I tried to find it, man. We couldn't find it. We were looking everywhere.
He is something else.
Somewhere in the last 5 to 10 years was this documentary.
Wow.
Yeah, that kid's great.
Oh, he's awesome.
got jokes.
I can't believe that he was in nothing else because he was great.
How was he not in the
this movie.
sequel? He knows how
Yeah.
Swamp Thing operates.
Yeah. So Jude lets her use the telephone.
Oh, his first line, he sees her walking up, he's like, here comes trouble.
Yeah.
That's why I put down.
You in a plane crash?
Right.
Out walking.
Oh, he's got these Coke bottle glasses and he's drinking a Coca-Cola out of the
In
bottle.
a broken ass fly swatter outdoors.
That's visual poetry.
Yeah.
He's got so many great lines in this movie.
Oh,
He
yeah.
does so many great lines.
I didn't expect there to be comic relief, but
No.
yeah, he was it.
Yeah, I didn't expect there. But him and I just want to see him and Adrian and Alice drive around the country like fighting crime and solving mysteries.
You mean row around the country in that?
Yeah, row. Yeah,
with the
with the weird
thing
the little symbol to protect them. I'm assuming.
Is that what it was? But it was a doll and some
that made
flowers.
me think like this. Is,
I don't know enough about voodoo.
That made me
to
wonder: is
know
this like
what that
is this
but
like
I was
Louisiana?
assuming.
Is this like Louisiana then? Maybe.
Yeah.
I just thought he's like, hold on, I got to deliver these flowers for this TaskRabbit thing that I picked up before.
I got to go load up on Cokes for the only functioning Coke machine for 500 miles.
Yep.
I also work for Grubhub. This will be
Right.
so little boat. He lets her telephone her employers for help. The operator connects to Ritter, who claims to have been called away from the site before the attack.
And it's
arcane.
And it's arcane.
Yeah.
with
It's
this
freaking arcane.
With his worst made up voice, like
hello.
This is arcane.
I mean, Ritter.
I'm in Ritter. Yeah.
So
Terrible voice disguise.
after revealing that she stole Alex's last notebook, Alice waits for Ritter's return alongside the young gas station attendant. But Arcane's men arrive and chase her through the forest.
She asks, you got a gun in here? He's like, what kind of place you think this is? Of course there's a gun in here.
Yeah.
Of course I got a gun.
Yeah, I'm a kid who owns a gas station.
In a swamp.
And she calls it a museum piece.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Yep.
she shoots it.
And
And
it
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 explodes
falls
in
over-
her
yeah.
hand.
Yeah, that was wild.
Ferret is the one who describes this whole thing. He goes, "Oh, she got one shut off, and I think that thing blew up in her hand." I don't know why he sounds like Boomhauer.
That was completely.
in my head.
Well,
Yeah,
and if you notice,
that was pretty
his
good.
lips weren't moving, and he was facing slightly.
all
away from
ADR,
camera.
like,
that was completely ADR because I bet they were like, "You can't figure out what happened to the gun. Let's get a line in there."
Yeah, we can't ever have this gun, man. Like, yeah, it was weird. It was very like Sigourney Weaver, like Invincible, like she's Ripley in this moment.
Right.
Like,
She was.
a gun blew up in her hand, and she is just running through
Yeah,
the swamp.
she's unfazed.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
like, okay.
She's like,
another
fuck,
day in the
let's go.
swamp."
Yeah. And that kid doesn't even tell her, like, yeah, I haven't washed or cleaned or fired or put oil on that thing.
He's like, "What do you want? I'm
Ever."
12,
Right.
and I own a store."
Didn't Bruno, when he was describing, I think he was describing Swamp Thing, didn't he call him an abdominal snowman?
He did call him
The
an
abdominal.
abdominal snowman, yeah.
Oh my
Bruno
God.
had a real like, I want to pet the bunnies kind of thing going
Oh,
on.
man.
Well, and wasn't it convenient that inside that trapper's cabin they had exactly her style of clothing, size of clothing? Like, there's probably something in the trapper's cabin, and there was.
There was
a nice
her
ensemble.
Her clothes were in the trapper's cabin. Suddenly, the Swamp Thing appears and again scares the pursuers away, immune to their gunfire. So he stops the car.
yeah.
Right.
He reaches out and like stops the car.
They
Yeah.
hit a tree.
Yeah.
It's like hitting a tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Which they say that too, which I thought was kind of cool. I was like, well, you know.
Yeah, when Jude shows up again, she's like, what happened to the car? She says it hit a tree. It's like, oh, must be one of those hit and run trees.
Yeah.
One of those hit and run kind of trees.
Another good line for Jude. And then yeah. So once alone, Alice attempts to escape the monster and it reluctantly trudges back to the trees. That
She wades into the water, like waist deep into the water, and then says shoo.
Yeah, that's
just,
right.
just waves it off. Shoo, go away.
Burying the
he looks
Henderson.
so sad.
I know.
You know what he was probably thinking though was I'm walking that way.
That's the way I
I
was
live
going.
over there. Like,
Go on.
this is my
Get
swamp.
up. But Shane.
Nobody wants you, Swamp Thing. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
We don't need you anyhow.
go.
Go on, get. We don't want you no more.
Poor swamp thing.
Swampy.
Old swamp ass.
Yeah, so Jude finds Alice and leads her to a nearby cabin to change clothes. And later, Arcane instructs his men to find Alice, hoping she will lead them to the creature.
And he's got no shirt on, right?
Well,
He's got some
that's
raw
right.
Putin energy going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and he says, every time you've seen the woman, you've seen this swamp thing.
Yeah.
Go find the woman.
It's the Lex Luthor principle.
Yeah,
that,
exactly. It's the
exactly
same
like
thing.
Superman and Lois Lane.
Right.
And he says he doesn't exactly keep a low profile.
Right.
The guy is a tree. He's in the swamp.
And he's been around for like 12 hours.
I mean, he's
he's
pretty freaking camouflaged. You guys just keep running into him with your idiot militia
boats.
Like, you think that somebody just, like, get a net and catch him. Which leads us
They
to...
do, yeah.
Well, yeah, okay, no, but he's immune to gunfire, so
Yeah.
clearly
so,
some rope will do the job.
Right? Well, like, you're shooting a tree.
All right.
You know?
So Alice and Jude boat around the swamp for a while until they reach the dock.
Why are
Near
there
the-
so many songs about rainbow? Like if they just took a little,
Yeah, seriously,
Pastoral.
though. That's all I could think that entire time. They kept popping up in that boat.
Where's Tom DeLuise?
Until they reach the dock near the laboratory wreckage. She spies Swamp Thing crouched among the ruins, holding Linda's locket, and quickly returns to the boat, vowing to bring Alex's final notebook to Washington, D.C. Congress will hear of this.
It'll be a hit.
Well, and it's this weird cosmic timing where they're just there at the same time.
Yeah.
And she sneaks away from him and he doesn't see her.
Right.
Like,
two ships passing in the swamp.
it's just, it could have happened then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, minutes later, multiple boats of Arcane's men close in on Alice and Jude.
Wait,
Yeah.
the boats, was that after Swamp Thing tries to do chemistry?
Yes.
Oh, shit, I can't hold anything.
I just crush them in my hand.
Wrong flask.
Yes.
Yeah. I wrote. Yeah.
That was just in his nature. Like you can't
Right.
beat the science out of this guy.
It was a very Ron Burgundy, like drunk, like,
Shit!
It's like when a dog tries to dig the couch.
yeah.
It's just his nature.
Trees. They always try to do chemistry.
Yeah.
Minutes later, multiple boats of Arcane's men close in on Alice and Jude, luring the creature from its hiding place amongst the reeds. Despite their bullets and grenades, the Swamp Thing engineers an elaborate boat crash.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they do what? They kill the kid.
They kill.
They shot the
kid.
kid straight up.
Well, did he get shot? It looked
Yeah.
like he got hit in the face because I didn't see like a bullet. I
swore he got shot.
That's
Well,
what I
they
assumed
also-
because they had guns, but he had like an abrasion on his face.
Well,
I was like, did
the
somebody
actu-
like hit him after he was like, Cable?
Well, the actual
then he was dead.
The only wound was on his head, and there wasn't. It didn't look like a gunshot wound, and it was off
I thought it was
screen.
on his chest
Yeah,
where he
was it
put
on-
his hand.
He did put
But
his
there
hand
was
on
also-
his chest, but yeah, he had like this like, it looked like he got like hit really hard, which it was just a weird like
and when
timing
he
of
Sure
all
felt
of
like
that.
he got shot. I mean, that's what I wrote.
We
down. I
didn't.
wonder.
We didn't hear a shot.
Yeah, and there was no gunshot sound in between it. He just
There wasn't.
kinda,
Yeah,
like,
we heard
floated
him.
up.
We heard him yell for Alice, and she shushes him, and then wonders why he's not responding.
Huh.
But there was no gunshot sound. I thought he got clubbed by the boat pole or
Maybe
something.
he got
I
hit
don't
by
know.
the
It was
boat
just like-
as it flipped over,
I
we
I
forgot
was
to
assuming
mention
they pistol whipped him.
was our Wilhelm Scream in this movie.
We got
Yes.
the Wilhelm.
yeah,
at 56 minutes and 23 seconds.
in the European edition. That's
Yeah.
We also got our first verbal obscenity when the boat flips over. The guys, one of the guys, is like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, that's right.
yeah, it
Oh,
flies through
shit!
the air.
The very first. So yeah, no, this is the first. Was this a PG-13 or an R?
it was.
I think it's just
PG.
PG. I think this
Oh,
this
this was
predated
PG-13.
PG-13. Yeah.
Okay.
And not long afterwards, maybe it was when he was getting revived. Jude utters a.
Okay, well,
Oh,
okay,
yes,
wait.
as well.
So Arcane
Okay.
orders his lead henchman Bruno to continue the search, and then moments after instructing Jude to escape with Alice's notebook, Alice hears the boy cry out in distress, but she's kidnapped before she can reply. At that point, the Swamp Thing finds Jude's lifeless body and presses a hand against his head, creating a greenish glow which instantly revives him. Regaining consciousness, Jude realizes the creature is a friend of Alice's and gives it the notebook for safekeeping.
His first words upon being revived were, "Oh shit! There goes the neighborhood."
Yeah. There goes the neighborhood. Man.
Woke up with
Whippy
jokes.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
He was dead.
Well, and he knew to
nearly
give
dead,
the notebook to the tree guy.
Right.
You know?
It was like, Alice wanted me to put this somewhere safe. So I'm giving it to you.
So I'm giving it to you, whatever you are. And I love how Swamp Thing was always coyly playing with the notebook, like hiding behind it.
It's like it
and
smells
sliding
like
it down.
Alice.
Yeah. Constantly looking from around the
I
notebook.
feel like he was constantly smelling the notebook.
Right?
It smells like science.
It's like, I can't read.
Ooh, that's good notebook.
On Arcane's boat, Alice throws her kidnapper, Ferret, overboard, then dives into the water and swims ashore. They are terrible goons.
Yeah.
The worst.
Yeah.
Especially Ferret. Which, by the way, that boat was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
He had like a weird Bond villain houseboat, and all of a sudden he was
Yeah.
like suave. It's like, how did he become cool? I thought he was like the Sandinistan guy, you know?
Well,
He wore
yeah,
like
then
a
all
red
the-
headband and camo.
Yeah.
And now
Oh.
he's like wearing like, you know,
And didn't he call her baby
Gucci.
again?
Yeah, and he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, you like big creepy tree guys. I could do that, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
I could be
he
that guy
kisses
for
her,
you.
right? Just like Holland did.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah,
When you're ferret, they let you do it.
with a name like Ferret.
It has to be good.
Yeah.
So,
God.
But then is this then the first conversation that Swamp Thing has? Like,
well, okay.
is
no,
that
no,
this
no.
next scene?
So, wait. So, once on land, Alice bumps into Swamp Thing, who calls out her name. Ferret chops off Swamp Thing's arm with a knife.
Yeah.
But the creature easily snaps Ferret's neck, causing Alice to faint.
Do you snap his neck or crush his skull?
I think he crushed,
crushed
his
his
skull.
skull.
He
yeah.
definitely did an Oberyn,
Yeah,
mountain kind of scene.
snake
I
in
was
the
like,
viper.
oh shit. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he crushed his skull.
Which was pretty, it was not as gory as it could have been for a Wes Craven horror movie.
It wasn't. Well, I think he was probably instructed to hit a PG.
Yeah.
It was a mild skull crushing.
Right, exactly.
It was called for. It was necessary at that point.
It was. No, Ferret earned that skull crushing.
Yeah, he earned the crotch kick earlier too, which probably killed his pocket snake.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
Stinger.
Alice awakens in the monster's embrace as it presents her with an orchid. The Swamp Thing speaks to her, and she recognizes it as Alec. Later, she strips naked and goes skinny dipping.
Because he's reading the same lines as he did before. It's like
There's beauty in the swamp.
Right.
beauty in the swamp, all that jazz. Yeah.
So Swamp Thing creeps on Alice while she's swimming.
Oh, there was a cute moment just before that when she asks about his arm. She's like, "Does it hurt?" And he's like,
right.
"Only when I laugh."
And then they both laugh for a sort of a creepy amount of time.
And she's like, "Oh, Swamp Thing, you still got it."
Oh, you're ennui.
Yeah, so after Alice dresses, Arcane's men follow her, capture the Swamp Thing in a net, and retrieve the final notebook.
Oh, I have a question. So we know that the guy that played Swamp Thing is that Duroc, the stunt guy. Did they dub Ray Weiss's voice in, or did I couldn't tell?
I
really.
assumed they did. It
I
sounded
thought
like that
so.
was his voice over it.
Yeah.
With some,
I
like,
thought it sounded like Ray
with
Weiss.
some
Yeah.
voice acting kind of thing.
Well, yeah,
going on.
clearly he was like, yeah.
I don't think there was any like manipulation or anything, but
Right.
No, I think he just,
being like, "Rah, rah."
Oh, yeah, they like we don't have the budget to slow down the tape rate. Just like talk like this.
All right, yeah, I thought it sounded like.
I think it was Ray Wise.
very Dick Cheney. You know?
That evening.
That's the whole time. That's is that Dick Cheney is Swamp Thing?
And doesn't Swamp Thing then chuck the notebook?
Yeah, he throws it.
He just throws it.
He's
Oh, but he is Holland.
he's going through plant puberty.
Yeah.
At this point, he's got a lot of like hormones, and he's just like, shit, so much chlorophyll.
I'm so angry.
I just want to kiss a human.
I don't know what my body's doing.
I just saw boobs.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, it's been 24 hours.
They shot my sister.
They turned me in. They killed my sister, turned me into a plant, and chopped my arm off.
They trashed my badass swamp shack.
There's no beauty in the swamp. Fuck the swamp.
He has a real turnaround in like 24 hours. He's like super positive, making jokes about his arm getting chopped off.
Yeah, he doesn't let anything get him down.
Yeah, he's a real Zen character in this movie. Well, also with like the Darth Vader.
Frankenstein, yeah.
Yeah.
Or King Kong.
Yeah. That evening, Arcane throws a formal dinner party.
Okay, yeah. That
So
party.
the party.
This is where in the European cut there is
More nudity.
described fondling.
Wait, did we skip over the part where they capture Swamp Thing?
He said it briefly,
I
but
said,
we didn't
yeah.
stop on it.
They
Did you have...
capture Swamp Thing in a net and retrieve the final notebook.
And his quote.
His quote, the only way out is through.
Oh, yeah.
Because she
Great.
says, she realizes and says, like, you let yourself be caught. You knew. And he says, the only way out is through.
Yeah.
Well, but that's okay. So that's actually a screenwriting trope.
Okay.
The only way out is through.
Yeah.
To describe the point at the end of the second act, where the only way out is through, and you have to defeat the bad guy rather than retreating.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And they're exactly at that point in the screen.
Yes, exactly.
This screenplay is tight.
Yeah.
It is this is a well-structured, well-written film.
Yeah, it moves.
It's there. Also, we didn't mention this, but Arcane quotes a shit ton of Nietzsche.
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah.
catch all that.
Yeah, and as we get to the party, he is like quoting a fuck ton of Nietzsche at the party. It's interesting. I mean, he's
I
like
didn't catch all of the Nietzsche.
Yeah,
Well, that must be what my note was like. He's a nihilist, and I couldn't figure out why I wrote that. But yeah, it was
nihilist Donnie.
Yep.
Yeah,
Talking about Nietzsche. Yeah.
It was really interesting that just at the dinner party talking about Bruno, he just goes on this like Nietzschean like rambling thing.
Oh,
Man,
God, yeah.
Superman.
Yeah. So, okay. So, all right. So, who are all these people at this party? In the American South in the 80s. Like, this isn't... He's not a Central American warlord. This is like 100 miles from a major metropolitan city in the United
they're just
States
friends,
in the 80s.
like friends of his wife and friends of...
And in the European version, he's got women taking their tops off and getting fondled and dancing around.
It's just like an Epstein party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It looks debaucherous.
It's
It's definitely like...
But they gave her a nice outfit. They gave Cable a nice new dress.
Yeah.
But they tied
her up.
Tied to a chair.
Tie her to the chair. You think they
Can
could
we do one or the other, please?
sedate her or something?
She's like, how am I
going
gonna
to
eat?
Boring at the party, you know?
Yeah, how am I going to eat?
Well, and everybody is
Get to enjoy
cool
dinner.
with this
Right.
just tied up
Yeah.
all of these
hostage at the
people in
table.
evening dress.
Totally.
They're in suits and nice dresses.
This formal wear party. Yeah.
Bruno's in a turtleneck now.
Yeah.
Oh, Bruno in the white turtleneck.
Yeah, he's
He
feeling,
finally gets
he's
to wear
feeling
his
on top of
turtleneck.
his game.
Yeah.
So-
And he gets to sit at the opposite end of the
Yeah.
table to like
Yeah.
Arcane.
Bunch of
He's
people
feeling
around him.
it.
He's the guest of honor.
So now that Bruno's in the spotlight, I wanted to highlight him a little bit, some notes.
Yes.
Bruno was played by Nicholas Worth, and we're going to see Nicholas Worth again as Paulie in Darkman.
Oh,
Interesting.
So yeah, we're gonna
kinda
see more out of Bruno.
Similar kind of story about like a man who like
Scientist.
gets who like undergoes a change and tries to get back at the people that did that to him.
Nicholas Worth was also in episodes of The X-Files, Star Trek Voyager, Deep Space Nine. He was in Barbed Wire, Action Jackson, MacGyver, Simon and Simon, Benson, Knight Rider, Greatest American Hero, and The Hills Have Eyes too, I think.
Not exactly a lightweight.
Yeah. Go Bruno.
To Bruno!
To Bruno.
Yes, they all toast to Bruno. Yep.
This is the only tactical neck. God, Archer. The only
Tactical neck.
Turtleneck.
The only turtleneck this guy gets to wear in his whole career.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But hey, he was pulling it off.
That's weird.
So he gets jacked immediately.
Yeah. Moments after giving a toast to
Made him feel good for
giving
no
a
reason.
toast to immortality, Arcane reveals that he secretly slipped the first dose to Bruno, who begins to convulse. The hulking man's
The hulking man. This big guy.
yeah.
This big guy.
drops below the table and hops back up as a tiny little gnome person,
Like
with pointed ears and a misshapen skull.
How do you get smaller?
He was like a little idiot Robin Goodfellow.
Yeah.
Just a little puck and
Puckish,
a turtleneck.
yeah.
why was he puckish? Like,
Because it's the serum, it turns out, amplifies your essence.
Your essence is what.
and
yeah.
which
And he was a small,
How did Arcane know
It's
this?
a plant cell with freaking.
he was a small man
animal
inside.
nucleus.
No, it wasn't Arcane that knew this. Swamp Thing said it.
Arcane thought it was going to make Bruno a giant monster.
Yeah.
No, but Arcane also, that's why he drinks it himself.
But after Swamp Thing tells him.
Yeah,
okay.
Swamp Thing explains it to
Did that
him.
make
yeah.
him like
fair
a
enough.
possum? Are we going with the swamp?
Was it? Yeah.
I
Was
thought,
he looked like a possum,
I
like
thought-
the possum that they pulled out of the
I
tank.
thought he
earlier.
was a wolf
bit.
pig.
Man,
Well,
wait.
Pig
No,
comes
no.
later.
Are we talking about Bruno or?
Yeah, we're still talking about Bruno.
We're still talking
Okay,
Bruno.
possum,
but
possum,
Bruno
yeah.
was very much like that's the only thing I was like, what animal would that be?
Yeah, it was a
did look like
rodent,
a
like a
possum.
shrew, like a shrew or a
Yeah.
possum.
And
Possum
why
I
is
can
Swamp
see,
Thing
yeah.
a plant? And why is Bruno
How do you get smaller though?
freaking and how I mean
How do
he's
you
I
lose
see
that
how
much
you get
mass?
bigger.
molecular density. He's like Superman. He's got like his
He's
cells
very
are very
heavy. He's
dense.
small but heavy.
Yeah, he's like 6'4", 300.
No.
All of a sudden,
No, I watched both versions. I saw the American version, the PG version, first, and then just last night saw the European version. And I swear the change sequence, Bruno's change sequence, was at least twice as long.
Interesting.
His horrific writhing in pain.
Well, because
and-
it looked vicious.
yeah,
it was twice as long in the uncut version.
in the
Yeah.
European version, yeah.
I mean, because it was like there was like froth coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
and,
right.
His skin was bubbling or
yeah.
something.
It looked.
Yeah.
It was intense.
Yeah, his head was like melting. It looked like
Yeah.
it reminded me of Prometheus where they put the big like head inside that microwave oven thing.
Yeah. So yeah. So Arcane locks him in the dungeon alongside the Swamp Thing, asking the latter creature why the experiment failed. Swamp Thing reveals that the formula does not produce strength, but instead amplifies a person's natural qualities, explaining that Bruno's timidity caused his diminished stature.
He never was.
Yes.
He never had the capability.
He was a small man on the inside.
Very small, sort of rodent.
Bruno only pawn in Game of Life.
That happens to like non. So they throw him in the dungeon too, right, Bruno?
Yes, they throw him in the dungeon.
Even though it was successful. I mean, he was the
Yeah.
guinea pig.
He could be really
and then he
useful.
changed.
Well,
and then fine.
He's like a terrier.
I still-
you can put him
yeah.
in holes to.
Well, yeah,
you
He
know,
doesn't get to be Bruno, the little weird creature.
Well, and he wasn't attacking Arcane or
Right,
anything.
yeah.
He was fine. He was like, "What? I'm cool, boss."
Yeah.
Well, your disappointment to the dungeon with
Right.
you.
yeah.
What?
Son of a.
Well, and in the dungeon.
Yeah. Well, after locking Alice in the dungeon with them, Arcane returns to his study and drinks a glass of the formula.
Worst fake drinking though.
Yes. And that's the point where he calls in his assistant, tells her to go get the other assistant to get him a drink.
To
Some
get some
arcane fire.
brandy to wash
Yeah.
down.
Oh yeah, brandy.
The goop.
Yeah.
The magic elixir.
Exactly. A beam of sunlight emitted through the door regrows the Swamp Thing's missing arm, allowing the creature to free itself, Alice and Bruno.
Which they were in the sunlight when he got his arm chopped off.
Yes, they were.
Yeah. Like
Well, this is all very new to him.
He didn't.
he doesn't know his own powers, I guess. Alice is there to be his guide.
He was in the
They're being
sunlight for a
developed.
long
Yeah.
time after his arm got chopped off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Arcane drinks it.
Yeah, upstairs Arcane transforms into a hairy boar-like beast.
Well, he
Man-bear
transforms
pig?
into like a rock thing.
Oh yeah, he gets like a cocoon.
Yeah, he's like cocooned.
Oh, yeah.
first,
Like
and
a
then he
chrysalis.
tears
Has to
out
break
of
through
it.
yeah.
Right.
And his head looked like lava over his eyeballs. It was really
Right.
It was intense.
freaky for
yeah.
a few minutes there. Like I didn't know what was going on.
It
They
was-
kept cutting back. to
Yeah,
him.
I
He'd
thought
be
he was
like,
going to be a rock. I
a
thought it was going to be
different step in
Rockman versus
metamorphosis.
Swamp Man.
Pig
And then he
bear.
climbs out of that.
Pigman
And
bear.
he's just a sword-wielding baboon.
He's a
Yeah.
hairy
He got a sword.
dog
Right.
pig monkey thing.
Yeah, like a monkey's or a pig's nose, but the tucks.
But with teddy
But
bear eyes.
Why doesn't it's a plant cell
And a
with
sweet
an
tooth.
animal nucleus? Why are they not plant pigs and plant
Right.
possums?
Because
Yes.
there was plant DNA in the
Like,
serum.
They should
animal
be-
nucleus.
Like they should be part. He should be man, bear, pig,
plant.
plant,
Cucumber.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he should
because
be
the whole thing was the
Pickle
plant
Rick
DNA.
kind of thing. Like
Well, I know
was
our
very confused about the mechanism with this magical science.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe he was part Kiwi. That explains the hair.
Hairy like a kiwi.
Hairy like a kiwi.
Same
Yeah.
color. I go, okay, all right, I'll give you
Of course. Precisely, Robin.
So he descends to the dungeons where he discovers that his captives have escaped through an underwater tunnel leading back to the swamp. So, okay. So that's the well. Bruno says that's the well that feeds the water.
Well,
they're drinking water, I have to assume.
Also, we didn't mention how they get out of the cell. You turn this, you turn that. This is in case a guard gets locked in here.
Yeah.
Like, did Arcane build that in there? Or did the
Right?
guards go like, dude, this guy's fucking evil.
We
He's
need
going to lock
something."
us in here. Hey, man, I know this is your first day on the job, but if you ever get locked in here by Arcane, there's a knob up here. You turn this one to the left and that one to the right, and it'll let you out.
Because at some point, he's definitely going to lock you in.
Yeah,
there.
because that cell was empty. They don't have prisoners.
No.
He's the kind of guy who's like, I keep prisoners for a few days, and then I kill them. But
so-
the prisoners...
My mansion in Florida.
Yeah.
This southern
Florida mansion.
this southern mansion could have been a lot older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just outside of
Ponce de
Clearwater,
Leon.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
so okay.
It was just drywall,
So they go down
flatboard.
into
Not
this
trying to
room.
get sued.
Wait, this room that contains the well, the freshwater well that feeds them all their water, which is lit by torches that were lit before they came into this room.
Just always going.
That's somebody's job, you know. Yeah.
Torch.
Just keep the torches lit in the well room.
It's the
least
villain
not
aesthetic
Bruno.
that Arcane is going for. It's
Yeah.
like, I need this to be...
My life is art.
Someone has to come down with buckets to get the water from the well to pour into the plumbing system.
Right. The sorcerers are.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there he discovers his captives has escaped through an underwater tunnel, leading back to the swamp. Sometime later, Alice and the Swamp Thing emerge from the water, followed closely by Arcane's monster, which stabs Alice with the sword. He brought his sword with him.
Yeah. A sword.
Yeah, he grabbed it. It was like one of the first... He's like, oh shit, my sword, I'm going to need this.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the murdering.
Yeah. And this is perfect to chop down a tree.
This is my essence.
He should have grabbed an axe. Like, why didn't he have a battle axe on his mantelpiece? Because Swamp Thing's a fucking tree.
Why? Okay, so well, okay, so
You know?
well, and where did
Sometimes I
everyone
feel
go?
Like a tree.
Because it was nighttime. There was a party. He locked them in the dungeon. Then suddenly it was morning. So, like, were they in the dungeon all night then?
Yeah.
And everybody
Well,
went home?
The sun was
'Cause there was
rising.
a
Now
party.
36 hours.
I thought that the sun coming
Oh,
down...
it was rising.
showing
and-
that the
okay.
sun was rising. It was coming down into the cell because it was early in the morning.
All right.
So that there was some time continuity symbolism, you know, showing when it was kind of.
So the Swamp Thing revives Alice, who alerts him to Arcane, who he kills.
Yeah. At one point, Arcane has his arms up, and there's a huge rip in the.
Well, before he kills him, he fights him with a mangrove tree. He pulls him out of the ground, and he's like, "Oh, you got a sword? I got a tree." Because obviously,
Because I'm Swamp Thing.
yeah, like, and they fight
tree beats
like
sword.
they sword fight
Yeah.
with a tree and an actual sword.
Yeah, but the sword. Okay, so the sword can't take out the tree, but Ferret's knife earlier chopped through an entire Swamp Thing arm.
For real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how does this mechanism work again? Like, he's made of the goop also.
Yeah, he's super strong and dense and tree-like.
If he can,
And can
save
bring people
a
back to life.
child
Yes.
with a touch,
And Adrian.
how can he not
Yeah.
just be like, oh man, I need to grow my arm back?
Yeah, why didn't he just like?
You know?
That's the sound of his
Yeah,
arm going
Because
back.
it was one night, and he totally didn't. Well, I think his powers
yeah,
were
he-
developing as he grew.
Yeah,
but-
He healed Alice with his shoulder ointment.
Yeah.
Her,
Oh,
she was
and it grew
viciously
moss.
stabbed. Yeah.
Oh,
It grew
yeah.
moss
Like,
on there.
Oh, right, moss. Yeah.
And she looked down at like my moss boob.
Yeah. Oh shit. Moss corsage. And then he just walks away, right?
Yeah, the creature turns to leave, but Alice pleads for him to stay so that she can help him rebuild his work
I can come with you.
and live in the swamp.
What are you going to eat, lady? What does Swamp Thing eat, anyways?
Yeah, that's good. He
Possums?
doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
I was
It's
just
only been 2 days.
I was just hoping for Jude to pop up and be like, "Who was that mossed man?" As he just walks into the door.
Maybe he drinks Coke and just lives there in the swamp right next to the Coke store.
So they just leave the arcane baboon laying in the swamp. He didn't even. I didn't think that he stabbed him with. He stabbed him once with the sword, but then he thrust the sword into the ground, and they just left the arcane baboon there. I have a feeling we might see him come back.
He had a great career after.
Well, he was dead at the beginning of this movie, and not actually dead. So maybe it's actually not Arcane who became this man bear pig. Oh, yeah. I've got my theories.
So Swamp Thing leaves, refusing to return, but promises he'll return to her soon. Like he says, "You'll see me again." Like,
yeah, she's not even from there.
No, like she's going back to Washington. I assume.
She says, "You can continue your work," and he says, "With these," looking at his hands, like
Mr. Holland's opus,
which are pretty normal hands. Like honestly, they're the most normal part of his body.
And she says, "I can be your hands." She is like trying to get laid by a tree.
Yeah,
he's just Swamp Thing. He's angry with chemistry now.
He's
the cruel mistress.
But he tells her, "I'll always be with you."
Right
here. Really creepy. Like, he's just going to be in her backyard.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like looking in the window.
Swamp Thing.
Who's that? It's Swamp Thing.
Wacky neighbor.
Swamp Thing. He's wacky and he's funny and he's laughing.
And Jude shows up again.
Jude emerges from the trees.
Yes.
Luckily, he was nearby and embraces her as they watch the Swamp Thing lumber away through the marsh.
That's where that line would have been great.
There were a lot of really cool picture or shots of him with the iconic, like carrying her in the dress kind of thing. Yeah, and that was the last one we saw, and that was like the quintessential shot.
And she was like tied up like this, right, in the dungeon, like an X. Yeah, like they did to Fay Ray and King Kong.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot of King Kong imagery. There was. Yeah, I mean, Wes Craven knew what he was doing.
I thought there was some Hulk imagery. On the second viewing, I realized that Ray Wise would have made a great Bruce Banner. Of the time.
In the 80s, he would have.
Smooth but awkward, somehow.
Just has a little bit of a bite to him.
Yeah.
So, that's Swamp Thing, everybody. Any last thoughts on it?
I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it.
It was a very. I was surprised by two things. One, how badly the effects aged compared to what I remembered from watching it as a kid.
That was the only.
And two, how good of a movie it still was despite all that.
Yeah,
I wasn't as disappointed in the effects as I thought I was going to be. I think one of the big issues was the film style. Was all the wipes.
Right,
all the wipes themselves were so distracting.
Yeah,
the visual shots of Alice Cable running.
I loved the
braless.
There's so much braless running.
I loved the slime wipes though.
The slime wipe was very comic booky. But all the other wipes, like there were some white line wipes that were weird. Where I'm like, why is there a white?
Well,
line?
it kind of looked like they just got video wipes.
Right, that was a fairly new kind of thing. I did like it. It's funny though. Yesterday, I had to watch the second half. I started it and stopped it, and I was watching it with Ella and Andrea. And I'm standing there. We're watching it. We're laughing like, "Oh, that's kind of ridiculous." And I had the thought of like, I'm gonna go in the bedroom and watch something else while they watch something.
It's like, oh
wait a minute, I have to watch something. But no, it was it held up as a movie. I think.
It did. I mean, it did for its for a low budget creature.
For a creature feature
from
Bond
1982.
I remember it from being young. I mean, I did watch it a few times.
I'm pretty sure this is the first pair of boobs I ever saw as a child.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting. I wonder.
I can't.
Mine
remember.
are Porkies or Meatballs, like one of those.
Maybe Porkies.
Mine
or
Animal
Titanic.
House.
No, I saw Titanic. I saw Titanic in theaters as a 5-year-old with my grandmother.
Right.
Grandma, if you're listening. Thanks, I guess.
Yeah.
That's good looking out, Grandma.
Grandma's like, that's me.
I think for me, it was either Trading Places or Enter the Dragon.
Oh.
Join us next week at our new podcast, the first pair of boobs I ever saw.
That could be a special episode, yeah.
It could be. All right, so all that we have left, guys, is to put it on our list.
All right.
So I'm going to start at the bottom. Was this better than Condor Man?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Was it better than Hero at Large?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it better than Superman and the Mole Men?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had some phosphorescence in there that I enjoyed.
Was it better than Superman 2?
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to land around here somewhere.
So that's...
I don't think so. I think Superman 2 is more fun. All the Zod shit.
Yeah.
I think Superman 2... I think this is maybe has a little bit more of this has a lot more subtext. This has a lot more going on underneath. Like you can tell it's made by a filmmaker. Mm-hmm. But Superman 2 as an overall movie, I definitely think is more fun. Mm-hmm. But it's I don't know.
I think between Superman 2
Swamp
and
Thing,
Mole
I
Men
think
is a
I
good
love
place.
you.
I'm honestly, I would, not to make this a longer podcast, but I would say that this is probably better executed than Superman 2.
Than Superman 2?
No, there was no 2-minute wind sequence.
I don't think Richard Donner I don't think Richard Lester had a vision.
Yeah.
I think Wes Craven did.
Yeah, and I think he executed his goal. So, in my opinion, I think that this is artistically better, but as a superhero, like as a thing for if I had kids to watch, I would say that Superman is a more fun superhero movie. This is a little dark.
So, what do you say,
number
Al?
3?
Oh, wow.
Number 2.
Yeah, that's a tough call.
Because it definitely doesn't go above Batman 66. I don't think that's a question.
No,
so it's in the let's put it in the third spot.
Can you?
Oh no.
It would be the third spot. It'd be if it's
better than Superman 2.
If it's better than Superman 2, it'd be in the third spot.
Superman, Batman 66, and Swamp Thing?
Superman 78, Batman 66. Right now, Superman 2 is at number 3. Are we saying Swamp Thing can go there?
Yeah. I'm
Brian says yes.
That, yeah.
Josh, you're kind of thinking it goes below Superman 2.
Al? I think it's right there. Oh my gosh, let's put it at number 3 just to make things interesting.
It can't live there forever. But.
Yeah. All right. No, it cannot.
Just to make things interesting.
So we are putting Swamp Thing at number 3. Do you agree? Let us know if you think Swamp Thing deserves to be number 3 or if we screwed it up. So that's it, everybody. Thank you. I am one of your hosts, Throw Smiley, and this gun exploded in my hand.
I'm Josh Cece, and sometimes I feel like a tree.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I'm going to drink the brightest green goop I can find.
Everything's a dream when you're Alaric Weber.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Hey everybody, I just wanted to give a big shout out to all of our Patreon producers: Alyssa Dent, Hedda Paulson, Katie and Finn Thorpe, Kirsten Reed, Michael Beckworth, and Jojo Birchtree. You too can be a Harmless Phosphorescence producer. Just go to patreon.com/harmlessphosphorescence and pledge $10 or more. Harmless Phosphorescence is a production of the Harmless Entertainment Network. Visit us at patreon.com/harmlessentertainment for early and ad-free new episodes, bonus episodes, and so much more. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, or Facebook to get the latest news, participate in polls, or just let us know what you think about the movies we're watching. You can also send us an email at harmlessentertainment@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and be sure to tune in next week.